Welcome everybody, happy Earth Day 2021. It's spring in Michigan. It is just beautiful to be outside.
My company is a B Corp. We operate under the idea that all decisions as a company need to be based on the triple bottom line. It's not just profit, although that is important. It's also how do the decisions we make in operating our company, how do they impact the people, and finally, the planet.
Well, the mill in Vicksburg has been providing sustenance for the community for the better part of 100 years. But now it's a mess. We've got contamination. The developer that is starting this is getting some help from the state through a brownfield plan. And the way that a brownfield plan works is that they look at projects that need some help, and they have to meet one of 4 criteria. There's contaminated soil, the building is contaminated, there's lead, there's asbestos, there's chemicals in and around the site from 100 years of making paper here. So meeting one of these criteria qualifies for a brownfield. In this case with the mill, it meets all 4.
But I like to think about that unknown person 100 years from now that will be walking around that east wing and looking up like it's the Parthenon and just kind of being like, wow, why is this here? How did this happen? What did they do?
How can we make sustainability a key part of this project for another 100 years, 200 years? And building that in, just the way the building was built 100 years ago. And with that, we have the idea of sustainability pillars. We developed 6 sustainability pillars to really define our overall goals about sustainability. The first, most critical one, save the mill. That has always been a part of Chris's dream for this project, and rarely do we go through a meeting without Chris saying, remember, this has to be here for 200 years. The next 2 pillars are all about energy. How can we do things in the future that improve the way we heat and cool buildings? The first of these is using the earth, using geothermal. The second is solar energy. Solar can be done in a number of different ways, and we're early on in the process. We don't know exactly how it'll be used. This could be generating our own power on site and directly consuming this on site as part of the mill's operation. It could also be using the size of the mill, the impact with our local utilities to say, we need renewable energy. We need affordable renewable energy to be available in the grid. The next sustainability pillar is water. We're in the Great Lakes state. Everybody appreciates being close to water, whether it's the Great Lakes itself, being close to Lake Michigan, having Portage Creek right next to the mill here. We're surrounded by water all the time, but we can take it for granted. Water as a sustainability pillar means conserving water, making sure that we're not wasting it. Also making sure that there are ways that we can incorporate the use of water into the various elements of how the mill operates, whether that's in the hotel or in the brewing process. There are ways that we can prepare ourselves for the future of taking better care of our water. The next is waste. Waste has always been a problem in the manufacturing process, and there are some really creative things that are being done on this project to minimize it. All of these technical aspects of the sustainability pillars finally end up with our last one, which is reaching for carbon neutrality. The overall measurement of greenhouse gas emissions that come from the operation of the mill, and even all of its subsidiaries, even all of its suppliers, and looking at the people who visit the mill to be able to track carbon emissions is a key goal of this project.
I just couldn't imagine amazing structures being torn down and all those bricks going into a rubble pile.
I think for Chris, when he thinks about the mill, he feels a personal sense of responsibility as being a third-generation mill worker and how important that was to his family and the town that he grew up in. Sustainability just naturally fits into that.
Excitement, possibilities of how the mill as a destination place can set itself apart from so much of the competition. So it'll be a very unique destination place.
It's going to be a curious place for curious people, and that there will be surprises at every turn. And I think the way we're designing it, the way it's turning out, it really will be one of those places that you'll go to and tell all your friends and say, wow, who knew in Vicksburg, just a little south of Kalamazoo, that you could be in such a beautiful place and have so much fun and want to go back to again and again.